It's fall. The geese are headed south, and it's time for you to hit the woods. So button things up, find where they hide, and pattern the deer you seek. Come into Cabela's Great Outdoor Days and save over 20% on Herter's select grade handgun ammo. Save $180 after mail-in rebate on Walther PPS M2 pistols with instant savings of $80. And get a Vortex Diamondback 3.5 to 10x50 V-Plex rifle scope, just $149.99. Shop in-store and at Cabela's.com.
Blog Talk Radio.
You ever get that feeling that you're going to get caught because you're just dancing in your kitchen like 5 minutes before your show started because you're so stressed? Hey, welcome to my world, and welcome to Cin's Chat Corner. It's Wednesday. I almost said Thursday because I'm a little behind schedule this week. So, hey, everybody. Before we get to our major guest tonight, because we all know who that is because I've been promoting it for 7 days now, let me just do some of the calendar announcements, only because of the fact that I never get a chance to go through this stuff, and time is tight, and I don't want to cut into their time in terms of the interview. So let's talk a little bit. First of all, I want to remind everybody today is not the only show I'm having this week. Apparently I'm having one more show. Sue Phillips, who is with the Centarium, and that's Scentarium, is going to be coming on the show tomorrow, and that's going to be tomorrow at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. If you guys remember when I was in New York City, I had an opportunity to go see her, and she is developing what we call the Sin Chanel. It cracks me up when she says Sin Chanel. First of all, I'm not famous enough to have my own perfume, and second of all, I have no idea how she puts these together, so it kind of freaks me out a little bit. But whatever, you know what? If it makes people happy and they want to smell like me, I'm all down for that. Because apparently there's a Sin dress, now there's a Sin Chanel. Before you know it, there'll be a Sin wine. We'll have some Sin truffles. It'll be a Sin world. No pun intended, or maybe a little bit. So anyways, tune in tomorrow, 1 o'clock Central Standard Time, Centarium Sue Phillips. Want to remind everybody who is local, Packing House, Tracy Hanneman, and Theo Merriweather, which is where I'd be, but I'm doing this wonderful interview, and I'm not feeling bad at all. 6 to 10 tomorrow, today, Cindy, 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock. So she just started. So go on out there. If you guys know Tracy Hanneman, you already know that she has been a part of the Eddie Butts band forever and ever and ever. Now she's kind of branched out on her own. Very proud of you, girl. Can't wait to see you again. Unfortunately, not today, but okay. Quick note in terms of my calendar. Yes, the calendar of creatives is actually going to happen. I know it's a shock, and people are just seriously? But yes, I'm serious. It's actually going to happen. We just got derailed a bit by 2 textbooks and 1 manual and now 1 comic book from my son. So, yes, it's actually going to happen. After my film festival in July, I'll make it a point in September and October to go there, film the shots in New York City, put the calendar together. So excited because, as we all know, it's already going to feature all the different individuals from television and film and books, and I'm so excited because they're all my independent friends, and I get to brag about them. And the best part is I wrote every review, and I read every book and saw every film, and they're kind of famous, and they're really kind of cool. So wait for that. I'm shooting to have it released at the end of November for a Christmas release. Don't quote me on that because a lot of that depends on cooperation of directors, actors, and, well, you know how that all works out. So, yeah, without a doubt, let's just make sure that we look for that in November. Couple of updates on the film festival and the comic book. Film festival, in case you guys didn't get to know, because I think I've invited everyone on the planet, is from July 21st to the 23rd. Panelists are still needed. Volunteers are still needed. Screenplays, I wouldn't mind getting a few more of those. And let's get real, I wouldn't mind having about 10 more film submissions if you guys could handle it. Anybody that's interested in doing so, you can go ahead and go to I have this website, but God forbid, I'm really good at writing and I'm really good at all sorts of other stuff, but when it comes to the technical side of things, I totally suck. So, therefore, if I were you, I would, not look at the website because it's frankly not done, and I know that sucks. But it's going to be a great festival, and we have money, and we have films, and we have panelists, and we have some celebrities, and we have some really cool stuff, including live music, which is awesome. Submission deadline is June 10th for everything, only because the festival itself is going from June 21st to June 23rd. And in case you guys didn't hear, I moved it from the Producers Club to Lantern Hall. Why? Because I can. And second of all, because we're working together, you know what that means? More money for filmmakers, more money for screenplay writers. Isn't that what it's supposed to be all about? That's what I'm thinking too. So, yeah. Actually, that works out nicely. So, yeah, anybody wants to submit, go to the Art is Alive Film Festival on Facebook. There you will find the filmfreeway.com website, which means you can go ahead and you can submit. Obviously, it's considered a late submission at this point, so let's not cry, but it's going to be $40. But I think you can handle that considering that the Give Me Back is going to be kind of cool. So I'm definitely without a doubt. let's do that whole festival thing and participate. And let's get real. I need people to show up too. So I'm begging, borrowing, stealing, begging, offering my arm, my leg, etc. 2, 3 things, whatever. You get the drift. Let's support Art is Alive Film Festival. Totally excited that my friends are submitting, excited that new people are submitting. We have 5 films that have been waived or given a waiver fee. So I'm super excited. Please, please make it a point to participate. As it relates to the comic book, so as we all know, about 50,000 people here are following the journey of my son and myself as it relates to the comic book. So here's the story. Let me tell you what's going on. We finally have it in comic book format, thank you, Jesus, only because of the fact that I've been so frustrated with waiting forever. As you know, this journey seems to be going from 3 years on to like 7 years. And so fortunately, Joanne Rogers, shout out to Joanne Rogers, because obviously she's getting all the credit, 150%, because my son did some amazing illustrations and he wrote the book, but let's get real, he's 12 and, yeah, well, we need a little help. So she was so generous with her time. She was generous with her efforts, and I totally am in awe of her and just complete 100% appreciation for all the work she's done. The comic book itself, we're going to put it out to order as of June 1st. So anybody can put their order in at that point in time. I'm pushing very hard to get it to the printer this week so we could actually have physical copies for next week, but don't quote me. And you know why? Because, well, unfortunately it's Memorial Day weekend and some of us have to go work. So it kind of sucks. So if you guys want to do that, make sure you order by June 1st. Anybody has hospital leads? I have 8 out of 50 hospitals. That means I need about 42 more. And then as it relates to the July book tour, check the Sergeant Seizure and Evil Dr. Cuckoo page and make sure you check it out. As for appearances, because I don't want to keep these guys holding too much longer because they've been very sweet to wait on me, don't want to forget. Apparently now I'm going to the LA Film Festival. I'm being asked if I want to do coverage for the BET Awards in LA. I will be at Comic-Con July 8th, which is the very first marijuana comic book con. Yeah, don't give me strife about it because, well, I need to work and I need to eat. June 26th, Long Island Film Festival. Deborah Markowitz is a director, dear friend of mine. We must all support local and independent theater. Why? Because if you don't support, these people don't work, actors don't get paid, directors don't make money, things don't happen. Come see me at all of those. Some of them, all of them. And lastly, Nikki Christie, I know that you're headed to Paris on Friday. So I just want to send out a quick note of love to you and happy birthday. And I'll see you guys in LA 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whenever. So without further ado, I don't need to tell you guys who's on the line. Let's just get them connected and start our interview because I'm tired of talking about news about me. Let's go talk about them. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Cindy,
Kalvin?
Michael, and Kalvin here.
Hi. Can you guys just get a little closer to the phone because it's a little hard to hear you both.
Well, we're both on the same line.
Oh, you are? Okay, I gotcha. All
Yeah.
right, we'll do the best we can with what we have. Hi, and thank you for being so patient and listening to all my 50,000 announcements.
No, we heard the last bit of your 50,000. It was very sweet, actually.
Well, this is kind of how things are.
You're trying to
this
cram
is
it
how
all in. It seems like you're trying to help everybody.
I am trying to help everybody, and I don't want to forget before I start this interview to say the sweetest thing of all, which is Eve Austin, thank you for listening, and most importantly, this show is dedicated to my son, Justin. So wherever you are, my child, I love you, and this is for you. Okay, so Kalvin, we're going to talk a lot about you because I think everybody knows who your dad is. I'm pretty sure like a couple of people know who your dad is, but I don't know how many people know who Kalvin Madsen is. And if I do my job right, they're going to know who you are. So how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, well, I'm a little tense. You know, this is a big interview, and I have a date after this, so I'm even more nervous. I don't know if it's the interview or the date that makes me more nervous. We'll find out. We'll see how the interview goes.
We'll take it easy here.
But
Is it eHarmony?
No, this is an ex. It's an ex that keeps coming back, and I'm crazy about him, but he can't get it together. So I'm like, let's just see what he brings to the table today.
It's the Stockholm Syndrome.
Oh, stop. As long as it's not a ring, I'm like, okay, no ring. Don't bring me a ring. Don't propose. Don't do the crazy stuff. I'm like, I'm not with that. I'm too tired today. I want to start off. I'm going to jump around. In case you guys haven't listened to my show, what I do is I talk about the personal part, I talk about the professional part, and then I talk about all my surprises I have for you. And, yes, I have many surprises for you, so be prepared. But I want to start with something very simple, which is your name. I'm curious to ask if the Kalvin name is gifted to you from your grandfather, because I know your grandfather's name was Kalvin with a C.
Yeah, that's right. We switched it over to a K.
My dad was born my father was born on the 4th of July, and Calvin Coolidge was the president when he was born, and so they named him Calvin after the president.
Oh.
And then I passed it on to my son.
That's awesome. I like that, actually.
Yeah.
And I see that
he gave it a K to put his own little flair on his own name and make him an individual.
I was just going to ask that, actually. And I see that some places it's Cal, as in K-A-L, and then it's Kalvin, like, for instance, your business is K-A-L-V-I-N. Do you have a preference?
Yeah, I've been leaning more towards using my name as just Cal. I kind of like it more like that.
I like that. That's cool. All right, awesome. Thank you for clarifying, Cal.
Yeah, you paid me.
I paid him $100 to change it to a K. I thought it sounded more cool.
Oh, my God. We're 5 minutes in, folks, and look already. The drama ensues. This is awesome.
And Grandpa didn't give a damn anyway.
Really? Well, and your grandfather was a firefighter, so major props. I am huge on military firefighters. Awesome respect. That is awesome. And to those of you listening in that didn't know that, yes, that's right. They had a firefighter. And Michael Madsen's mother is, of course, obviously, she's in the performing arts as well, as I recall from the Wikipedia, as I saw. But enough about that. We want to talk about Cal. Clearly, because you have a family of creatives, I want to know what made you focus primarily on what you're doing right now as opposed to venturing off into acting, because it almost seems logical, forgive me, but, you know, you have a very strong base in your family with acting.
Well, I guess what influenced my woodworking would be my little brother's creativity to sneak into my room and steal things from me. So I had to get creative myself and make a box that I could lock the shit in.
Oh, my God, seriously?
Even I didn't know that was the genesis. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
That's
Look
true,
at
believe
that.
me.
Serious. Is it really
There's
serious?
my family's creativity.
Wow. In a nutshell.
Okay, then. Well, look at that.
What's that?
Now we know where it all started from, your little brother. And that happens a lot, actually, because you have a big family, obviously. So I'm curious to ask about that dynamic. Because there's so many siblings in the household, or they're coming and going, etc. How do you balance all that? Like, I mean, is it like chaos and craziness all the time? Because I know what it's like with me with 2 kids.
Is that a question for me or for Cal?
Well, for Cal, because you know why? Because obviously Dad is Dad, and he's in his capacity, right? But I'm picturing you, and you've got your other siblings around in the house. You've got your
Have you seen a movie called The Lord of the Flies?
Yes.
It's kind of like that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a sense in my head. No, I get it. That's fine. And that's really cool. And
Kalvin is the one who's got his shit together. He has a job and a girlfriend and a car, and he's done some acting in a couple of movies, and he's constantly creative with. I never know from day to day what he's going to come up with, and the woodworking thing just really got a hold of me. I was so impressed by the stuff he started making. I said, I got to back him up with this, you know.
Oh, of course, without a doubt. I mean, that's what parents do, clearly. I mean, that goes without saying. Now, Cal, I'm curious. Do you think at some given point in time you'll kind of venture off back into acting, meaning on more of a full-time basis? I'm just curious. I mean, there's no wrong answer there.
I mean, I've done I don't know. I've done a couple things. I did something when I was very young for my dad. His friend was making a movie, and I had to cry over my dead mother, and it kind of made acting not that fun for me because it was, I don't know, it was kind of a really intimidating thing. But I don't know, I was 8 or 10, somewhere around there, and I had all these cameras and all these boom mics on me, and I just walked to this room, and there's this lady laying on the ground, and I had to pretend she was my dead mother, and I just had to cry over her.
Ew.
They paid me in a video game, which was cool, but I don't know. I've done things more recent.
Okay, right.
I don't know if I'd really take that on.
It wasn't a great role to start off with, but he did a good job, actually.
Oh, my God, that's too funny. I can't even imagine that. I tried to act once, and I got very drunk. That's literally what happened. I was in a bar. They fed me tequila until I almost fell over. I couldn't even speak my lines. I'm terrible. So, folks, don't hire me for any kind of actress. Journalist, yes. Radio show host, yes. Tons of other things. I can't act, Cal, so I'm right there with you. I'm like, you know what? I give props to you for the fact that you're doing it. Well, it's hard. I'm not, well, you know, not that we advocate alcoholism or any form of drinking on this show, only after the show. Anyway,
of course not.
Of course not. Back to the subject at hand. Now, I'm curious to ask you, Cal, this is another big one on my list, because I know that obviously we all, especially you'll find this out because you're starting a business, those of us who are in entertainment or in business have very busy lives. Most people often just recognize this for our professional life and not for some of the personal things. So I kind of want to talk about the personal side. First of all, what I do know about you is, and let's talk about the music. From what I hear, you play music. Is that correct?
Yeah, actually, I've been writing and my own songs, lyrics and guitar and other stuff just on my own for I don't know, probably like 5 years. I don't know.
He taught himself how to play the guitar. While his brother was next door yelling at him to stop the noise, he pursued it nevertheless, and even if he had to go down to the garage to do it, and now he's taught himself how to play, and he's pretty good, and writing songs, and it's quite impressive.
No, I'm very passionate about the music I write and stuff like that, and that's definitely something I want to pursue.
Oh, I gotcha. Well, wonderful. Now, You're doing this as an acoustical single or solo, or are you with a band, or what's your...
I'm kind of working with a guy. I don't know if I'm allowed to name drop or anything, but it's this guy. He's a friend of mine I met, and he's a producer, and we're working together, and we're going to record this whole thing together. He's going to play the other instruments for me, and I have 12 songs I'm going to put into basically an album, and record it with all other kinds of instruments. I have a band, a few people I play with, and we plan to play shows and stuff off of the album.
Oh, that's absolutely awesome. So I guess my question is, and it's probably a moot point then, so at this point, if people are out and about in L.A. or other places, are they going to be able to go out and say, hey, let's go see Cal play somewhere? Are we at that point yet?
Oh, I really wish that we were at that point, but I'm kind of bound to other people's time where I'm trying to get everybody's time to align to get into a studio and record everything. And, by all means, I want to record. I just go play my own solo shows, which I plan to do pretty soon.
Ah, that's awesome. Okay, so you're available. Did you hear that, folks? He's available for booking and by the way, just so you know, we name drop on the show all the time. You'll be hearing name dropping for this entire show because it's my show, so we can promote everyone.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, no, I don't want to cross any lines. I understand. Okay, so let's talk about the dirt bike thing because I'm pretty sure I've seen that your brother and your dad have the big bikes. And when I say the big bikes, I ride a Harley. So, of course, typically the only thing I go on is a Harley. And so I'm curious because dirt bikes is a whole nother world, isn't it? Is it? I don't really know.
I guess Harleys and stuff are considered more just on the highways and stuff. But dirt bikes, I like dirt biking. Me and my dad almost picked up a Triumph for me to kind of replace riding dirt bikes. But I don't know, dirt bikes is just something I really like, and I like going off-road. I like going on trails and stuff like that. I think that's really fun.
That's awesome.
What's the bike you just got? You just got a brand new one.
Yeah, it's a 250. It's a Yamaha. It's a dirt bike.
Nice. Gotcha. Okay. So I'm just going to be a typical mom right now because I know you have a mom, and I'm just trying to picture this, and I'm thinking, does she have a critical heart attack like I do? Because the minute my kids are on something dangerous, I'm seriously, you could die in there. So does she panic, or is she totally cool?
I think she's gotten used to it. I've been doing it my whole life.
she's definitely used to it. Yeah, by now. I don't think she has much control over it actually.
Oh, really?
She doesn't.
Okay.
No, not really, but
yeah.
I think she's down with it. I think she enjoys seeing the boys having fun and making use of their outdoor time. And last night, Kalvin went up the driveway with his girlfriend on the back of his bike, and his mother and I both enjoyed watching that happen very much so.
I can picture that. That's awesome.
Yeah, she had a little helmet on. She was all cool on the back of the bike. It was very sweet.
Oh, look at that. Oh, my goodness. Okay, I'm going to give you your opportunity, so you can either say yes or no. You can say a little something about your girlfriend if you want to. That's entirely up to you. Because we like to talk about that stuff because it's cool to talk about, kind of.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, wait, did you ask a question? Oh.
She wants to know something about your gal, if you want to say.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Yeah, you want to talk about your girl? Because you certainly can if you want to.
Expensively, but I'll talk about
Her name is Parker. She's very cute.
Actually, she's an actress. Maybe I should mention that. She's a really great actress.
Hello.
Her name is Parker Love Bowling. It's a pretty cool name. A lot of people don't believe it's her real name, but she's actually really good. I've seen her in a few things she's filmed. I've been on set with her so many times, and I don't know. She really has a talent for it, and I think she's going to excel.
That's sweet. I gotcha. Does she need exposure? Because we put actors on the show once in a great while.
Yeah, give her exposure.
Et cetera, et cetera.
They're quite a duo with him building boxes and her in her movies, and they're quite an exemplary duo.
That's awesome. Congratulations on that. That's really cool. That's nice to hear. Oh, there was my awe moment today. Okay.
Let me just jump in for a second. The boxes, they're handmade, and he makes them from scratch, and he asked me, I think about a year or so ago, to get him a workbench. And I said, yeah, well, let's go to Home Depot and see what we can find and blah, blah, blah. And I was busy and didn't get around to it. And 3 days later, there's Kalvin in the garage, and he built one. He built his own workbench, and so it was kind of, it was pretty cool. And he started making these boxes, and he made one for me, and they're just getting more and more elaborate. The one he made for Parker is really, they're each one of them is one of a kind, because they're handmade. They're one of a kind, and they're so attractive. They're very handsome and or beautiful, depending upon how you look at it. It's I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anybody make them like that, just off the top of their head. It's not like he went to carpentry school. And I think he must have got it from the other side of the family. I'm not quite sure.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay. Well,
my dad was
that's
pretty good with stuff,
segue.
but I never saw him make anything like that.
Really? And you don't do it yourself, right? I mean, you're not handy in terms of, like, the hand.
Well, I'm handy with just about anything mechanical, but woodworking is something I never attempted it, and probably wouldn't be able to without some sort of guideline or some kind of blueprint. But he just does it right without. I guess he sees it in his mind and he just puts it together. It's kind of amazing.
Oh, sure. No, I gotcha. In fact, that leads right to the next question I had, which was I was going to ask you, Cal, if you remember the very first piece and what you put together, meaning when you put your first case together, the size, the shape, and obviously we want to know what you're thinking, like your dad started talking about. How do you formulate something? Is it always just somebody telling you what to do, or do you just get images in your head? How does that work?
I mean, I like, I don't know, I made a shelf for myself one time before I had made that box. And that was just because I needed books. And I made the box because I needed somewhere to secure my stuff. So I basically just got a pen and paper out and just kind of drew a rough sketch of a box. And then I bought some wood. I bought myself a handsaw and a drill. And I just went at it. I sanded it down. I stained it. I painted it. I didn't paint it. I stained it. I glossed it. I don't know. I just came out of necessity. But usually, like, I'm working on your box today, the one I was going to make for you, and I'm covered in sawdust right now. My legs, I just
it's true. He was in the garage. When I got home, he was down there. Yeah, we're going on the radio, Kalvin. He's down there covered in sawdust.
But I was working on it. But like your box, I had like kind of an idea of what I was going to do with it and what I was going to make, and it was going to be kind of simple. But then I had made a mistake and I cut like a wrong part of it. And then I was like, I'll just get a new piece of wood. But then I was like, you know what, whatever, I'll just work with it. And it's become this whole new thing that I think is a lot better. And it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of in my head. And I used to draw them all out, but they just kind of come, they're just in my head. And I see them perfectly in my head. I just know exactly what pieces to cut and things like that. And it just worked out like
definitely. That. Now I'm curious because, and so you folks know, when I had approached Cal, my original idea was I had obviously digital images, which I now know obviously you can't put on that particular box. So the one thing that I said I wanted was my signature line is presence over presence, and that's how I live my life, which is I enjoy people being in my face in one version or another. Text me, call me, show up at my house. I don't care what you do, but if you're an absence of presence, you're absent from my life, you're gone. It's that simple. And so I'm curious to ask you, are we going to be able to have that on there, like on the top of it? Is it possible to put names and things in there just so people get an understanding?
I like to offer out to people because, like, my first idea was I was thinking, I'll get orders from people and, like, whatever they want, I'll throw it on there. But then a little bit into it, I realized that things can get a little bit elaborate, and I don't really have the skill for carving and stuff like that I could pull it off. Like, maybe painting, but maybe something. But I think the best quality things I could get out to people are I can engrave names or, short little lines like you want, or like their initials, maybe their zodiac sign, their symbol, or like something like that. I think would be cool.
Okay, I've got you. I have a question for you. One individual that I was talking to about your boxes had asked about, obviously, there's a lot of bikers who wear the skull stuff. Obviously, you've seen sugar skulls, things along those lines. Is that a little too elaborate for you, or is that something you think you might be capable of doing?
Wait, which? What is it? Sorry.
A skull, like a biker.
Like an actual skull?
Like jacket, like you see a skull, and like Hudson's tattoo.
Are you saying like that image you sent me?
Well,
No,
relatively
she brought up a
similar.
new subject.
Okay.
You could do this
sorry.
call, Kalvin.
Yeah, I could. I would have to do it sort of large so I could get all the details in there, but I could also alternatively just paint it on there. I mean, I'm not bad at painting or anything. I know how to do that, and I could make it look really good on there. But I mean, I could also engrave it. I mean, it just depends on how detailed the image is.
Okay, I got it. And I just want to remind everybody, one of the many ideas and one of the things that will come up before the end of this interview is, once my box is complete, there's a reason there's a presence over presence on there. And you guys don't know this because you're probably not on the Facebook social media like the rest of us are. One of the things I do to all of my followers every day is 3 times or 4 times a day I'll post something up and I'll say, if you're reading this now, and I'll give them something inspiring about their heart, their soul, their will, their determination, etc. It keeps them going. It keeps them happy every day. So the idea is to fill my box full of all sorts of this inspiration, and then everybody else can start getting an inspiration box. Is that corny? Does that sound ridiculous?
It's a little corny, but I think that's a good idea.
Ouch.
That sounds good. That's a pretty positive idea. I love it. I think that kind of message, nowadays is a good one, as long as it's not Pandora's box.
No, no, I think it's cool, and people like it every day because when I drop off of Facebook, they're like, "You can't leave because we look forward to these posts every day." And I just come across so many people that are very unhappy in the state of the world right now, and it's like, you know what? If I can do something as simple as having something like this, of course, and it showcases your work, and then people get excited about it, and then they want an inspiration box, and then it takes off, and then before you know it, you're gonna be like famous, like that.
An inspiration box is exactly what they all are. They're inspired by love and by craftsmanship, and I think they speak for themselves. It's very wonderful of you to take an interest in Cal and his box and his woodworking abilities, and we're very lucky to be on your show and to have the word to get out there. And you want to say that on your. You can put that into words by simply saying the box is filled with love. It's filled with a positive message for everybody.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. And like I said, I know it's a little corny, but I was like, you know what? This is just one idea.
It is corny, but there's nothing wrong with corny.
No, there's nothing wrong at all with corny.
No, corny can be good corny, as long as not the Brady Bunch corny, but
yeah, that's right.
Because
that's
the Brady
exactly
Bunch,
right.
Let's face it, that was not reality.
Right.
Any sense of the imagination.
Thank you. Okay, awesome. See, so there you go, people. I'm corny, but I'm cute, so there you go. So now I have more questions about the business because we want to talk about the business end of things because most people that are listening today don't know who you are. And when we get to the end of the show, remind me to text you and tell you just exactly how many people are listening to this. I purposely didn't tell you before you came on the show because I didn't want you to freak out because I'm a little freaked out. But, okay. So Madsen Woodwork, it's a startup company, and so here's what I want to ask. In terms of being a startup, clearly that means there's you, and you. I'm assuming that you don't have helpers or workers at this point, just to clarify.
I tried to get my little brother to help, but he, I don't know, I don't think he really has a hand for it. But it's just me.
Okay, I gotcha. I wasn't quite sure. I just want to clarify that in terms of people, start ordering from you, et cetera. They have to understand that you're a one-man operation, and as growth allows, obviously you'll get bigger, et cetera. Now, I want to talk a little bit about something, and I'm not sure if you know this or not, but, I mean, it's kind of common sense. You're working with wood. I know that you live in Malibu. Obviously, Malibu, I'm guessing, doesn't have the high humidity, because oftentimes what happens is I know that with wood, sometimes it's naturally got moisture in it. So I guess what I want to alleviate the concerns of the people listening is, even though you're making these things in Malibu, does the humidity or does the warmth or the temperature affect the wood at all you're working with? And can you tell us what types of wood you use?
I just run down to my local lumber yard around here, and I go down there. I grab whatever I can. There's common board. There's just oak. There's all sorts of things I grab. It goes like case to case. I go there. I grab whatever I want. But I don't think anything like that would cause a problem for anybody ordering a box. I think everything should be fine on their end if they got a box.
The ones you've made, I can say, because you stain them and you seal them, I think they're pretty protected against any humidity or anything like that. I've had mine for a long time, and it looks pretty good. It looks like the day he made it. So
I gotcha. Okay, and just out of curiosity, just because he's obviously on the phone with you right now, so like when you made your box for your dad, was your expectation higher, Cal, in terms of, okay, I'm making this for my dad and I want it to be really super impressive? Are you a little more nervous when you're making projects for your parents or friends versus,
If memory serves, I'm pretty sure I was just making a box just because I enjoyed it, and I was just making one, and my dad came down. and he saw where the project was going, and he was like, I think I might buy that from you. He's like, I think I might want that. And I was just like, I mean, yeah. And then from there on out, I made it for him. It turned out really cool. I think it's my favorite of all the things I made.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't feel pressured or anything.
It's pretty handsome. It's in my room next to my bed.
And I think that's the one I posted, right?
Kalvin's the least affected by pressure of probably most of the people I've met in my life. He worked out pretty well, the pressure end of things.
Oh, nice. That's nice to hear. And now you got a business. This is so awesome. Okay, next question about the business. Sorry, I don't mean to drill the business side of it, but that's what we're here for. And people are going to go away from here. They're going to listen to this, and they need to know as much information as possible. So I hope I'm not harping, but it's important to cover this stuff.
No, honey, we're all good.
Okay, good. Now, I've been told that some of the stable and more stronger woods are like your plywoods and particle boards, et cetera. So if people come to you and that's not your mainstay necessarily, are you still going to be able to service them? Do you know what I'm saying?
Wait, could you repeat that again? Sorry.
Sure.
I think she wants to know, when they come to you with different kinds of wood, are you able to
yeah, I can. I mean, if anybody wants me to use any certain kind of wood or anything like that, like, of course. I mean, it's wood can get surprisingly expensive if people don't know that. I didn't know that when I was going into it, but, like, you can really spend a lot of money on just, like, a piece of wood. And if that's the case, if somebody wants, like, some type of expensive, really high-quality wood, I could definitely do that, but it would probably just up the price of the box.
Oh, I imagine so, definitely. Okay, now we want to talk about the boxes themselves. In case you folks don't know, now Madsen Woodwork currently does custom boxes. And when we say custom boxes, we mean things like lock boxes, we mean chests, we mean jewelry boxes, etc. So kind of walk me through this process. So let's say, like Cindy, which I did, I emailed you and I said, hey, Kalvin, I want you to make this for me. So take us through the steps and so people can kind of visualize and get a sense of, okay, once they place the order with Kalvin, what goes into it from start to finish, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Am I making
understand.
sense?
Basically, how I wrote it all out just so I can have it, set in writing, so like how it's going to go down. I sent it to you, but I did not go through. But anyways, basically somebody will contact me if they want me to make something for them, and I'll give them some options. They could tell me, what size box they want. The price varies on the size of the box. There's a small, medium, and large size. The small is the base price, which would cost $250, and then it goes $50 up. So medium $3, a large is $350, and then and then from there, you can decide that you can tell me any specific kind of thing you want, staining, what kind of wood, all that, or you could just leave it all up to me, and I could just make you something just based on whatever I want. And what I think would be cool for you, you can decide if you want shelving. You can decide if you want, designs on it. What's that?
He makes little drawers and compartments and stuff like that are very clever, and I guess each individual person might want a certain kind of little compartment or a little drawer or a certain kind of front or back, and all those kind of things are very. If they did their homework and looked at the stuff he made before they ordered something, they could probably have a pretty good idea of what to ask for,
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, but alternatively, anybody could just ask me, directly, just, hey, you just make me whatever you think, and I'll do whatever I want. You could just be something completely surprised to somebody,
I gotcha. Yeah, because somebody mentioned to me the other day they were getting married. Good luck with that. Sorry, a little bitter. But they were getting married.
Yeah, right.
We won't get started. That's a whole other show right there, folks.
Yeah, this is my third time around.
But you know what, though? You guys look so cute together. Can we just say what a shout-out how cute? Because I see these Instagram photos. I'm like, look at how cute. They're cute. It's a nice couple.
Kalvin's a handsome young man.
No, you and your wife. I was referring to you and your wife.
Oh, yes. She's a good mommy. Yeah, she cooked up 3 of them for me. Yeah.
So well put, folks. Wasn't that wonderful? That was wonderful. Yay! Okay, my question was, because
none of us would be here without our moms.
I know. This couple that's out there is getting married, and they're radio friends of mine, and they were like, it would be really cool, having one of these little memory boxes from their wedding. And I was like, oh, you know what, that'd be really cool. So I wonder if you could, are you able of doing, carving a heart and then putting, little beads or, you know how women have their bling? I'm full of bling.
Oh, God,
you know what I mean?
No, he can. I've seen him do that. The one he made for Parker has a beautiful piece of stained glass on the front. It's that one blew me away. That one was so nice. Gosh.
Yeah, there's. Honestly, I want to stress that I mean, I can personalize people's boxes. I can engrave, a slot into it and put a photo in there. You can see on the top of the box. Put some glass over it. I could engrave your name on it. I could engrave your initials. Some type of quote. All sorts of things I can do to because the whole idea is that I want to make boxes for people that are completely unique. Like that they're the only person that can have that looking box. So it's just it's a one of a kind kind of thing. And I'm not going to mass produce a whole bunch of the same box and just start throwing them out there to people because I think that kills the whole thing.
I agree with you 100%. So before I go to my next question, this is a really good question. I came up with this one myself just now. So what would a Kalvin box look like? If there was a box designed specifically for Kalvin, what would that look like? Or have you done that already?
You mean a box for myself?
Meaning
or a staple of the company?
I'm just trying to. You know how you're doing my box. So my box will be cognizant of my personality, my beliefs, my things that I like, etc. So what would your box look like? We're just curious.
Oh, okay. If I was making one for myself?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm kind of a simple person. I made a box for myself, and it literally just looks like, I don't know, like some sort of a pirate chest or something. It's pretty plain. It's just a chest with a lock on it, and I don't know. I really enjoyed making it. It's fun for me making whatever, but
he's being very modest. Believe me. Even the shelf he talked about earlier, it's not just a shelf. It's like a damn good-looking shelf. It's obviously handmade and very stable and heavy and solid, and his own box is a lot more handsome than he gives it credit for.
I mean, I like it. I think it's really nice. I stained it a color I really prefer. In the inside of it, I made a shelving inside. I made a whole thing you can pull out. I keep all my most personal things in there, and it's worked out for me very well so far. And I really like how it looks. It really adds to my bedroom, and I think it's a nice thing.
So one of the things
the little brother can't get in it.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say. We don't want to go to the little brother. It sounds like the little brother gets blamed for a lot here. Poor little brother.
He's probably trying to learn how to cut keys. At this point, he's probably trying to pry it open with the bolt cutters.
Oh, my God. All right, so
Kalvin,
let's
I forgot to tell you that,
instance,
Kalvin. I found the bolt cutters at the bottom of the stairs the other day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, what were they doing
God.
there? You think Luke was trying to drag him up here? I have a giant bolt cutter, and it suddenly was moved in the garage.
That's kind of creepy sounding, too. I hope everybody's okay over there. Creepy there.
Yeah.
Keep your tools in a proper place, please, young man. Thank you very much.
Oh, we got a big box.
Now, obviously we want to talk about more serious things, such as, for instance, okay, so let's say I got my box next week. Now, typically in a perfect world, longevity. This will last you for life. It's not going to tarnish, etc. To be honest with you, I'm an idiot when it comes to wood. So what are we looking at?
Oh, wait, what?
She wants to know how long they last.
These are really sturdy. I make them. I made them with really, quality wood. I don't just find some driftwood or something like that. I make them out of wood that I inspect, I look over, and it's very solid wood, and I make sure that I get all the screws that hold it together. The whole thing is very sturdy. I've taken boxes, I've dropped them off of huge things. I've had tough tests on the boxes, and they stand up, and I know for a fact they'll stand up to time, of course.
They get better over time. They start to look pretty good after they take on their own personality, and they get a little older. They just look better and more handsome.
That's awesome. I like that. And of course,
never watch
clearly,
Antique Roadshow? You watch that TV show, Antique Roadshow? All right, I've seen people bring stuff in there that's made out of wood that's 50, 100 years old, and it still looks pretty good, if not better.
That's so cool. That's neat. And it lasts, folks. See, so not only is it custom design, it lasts. It's made from quality material by somebody who actually knows what they're doing. We want to talk about, we want to call it a so-called, typical turnaround time. Is there such a thing as a typical turnaround time when somebody makes an order?
It would go based case to case. If they wanted some huge thing, some huge elaborate thing or something like that. But if somebody ordered something simple, there's no reason it wouldn't take more than a couple of days to complete. But if somebody wants a really nice thing done for them, it could go for maybe 2 weeks. It would probably be the longest I'd take.
Oh wow, that's not bad at all. That's really impressive. My God.
That could change if I get a lot of people ordering things, which I could update on. But from now, I can make boxes very quick.
I hope in the future they got a great big workshop for him, or a bigger workspace, maybe a couple people to help him, depending upon how many orders he starts getting or how popular they become.
Oh, you betcha. Yes. Well, more details on that in about 5 or 10 minutes. So you are sitting down, right? You're sitting down, Al? Okay, good. Just making sure. Okay, stage dating, as far as that goes. I want to ask you, this is probably one of the most important questions of the interview, which was if I were to ask you why Madsen Woodwork stands out as compared to any of its competitors, what would you tell me? What would you say to the listening audience? Why pick you, not someone else? What's unique? What's different?
I think it just plainly that it's just completely, unique boxes made personally for people. It's just, I could make boxes that are just completely one of a kind, that they will never exist again and will never existed, and it'll be only something that whoever ordered it will own. And it's personally made for people. It's not like some IKEA furniture that you could just pick up, and the whole basis of the whole thing is, it's personalized. It's something that should be very special to somebody getting, or, like somebody can get it for a gift for somebody, and it's something I assume would be very nice for somebody to receive. I mean, I really love the things I make, and I imagine if somebody gave me something like that, I'd really appreciate it. And the whole thing about it is just unique. It has to be unique. And
of course.
I'm trying to get the ones he made recently. Two of them sitting in the dining room, and every day I see him sitting there. And I'm like, well, Kalvin, I'm already trying to get him off of them.
Well, I have a question because some of my listeners, actually I have a 20% base apparently, almost 20% in other countries. That's quite a shock to me. And shout out to you folks, by the way, especially in Italy. We have nice representation. But the reality is if they're listening right now, and obviously they're in a different country, are you going to keep things simple at 50 states to start with and then expand out? Or what if somebody's listening and they're from London or somewhere else and they want to get something? Is that a viable option?
The shipping cost is going to get pretty expensive for that, so people are going to have to cover that. But, I mean, there's no reason I couldn't send a box out there.
Calvin's been to Italy. He's been to Rome. I took Calvin to Rome.
I love Italy, man.
I was shooting a picture in Rome, and Calvin was there with me. And I actually I bought a property outside of Italy between Rome and Naples. I have a little place in a village there. And Calvin's quite familiar with Italy, and he had quite a great trip over there. My manager is from Italy. My manager's Italian, and I bought a place in the village that he grew up in when he was a little boy, and me and Calvin ran around the streets of Rome. It was a pretty nice trip.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason I couldn't send boxes out to people anywhere in the world. I mean, I could ship it out there if they just would have to cover the shipping costs, but.
Oh, right, and I kind of figured as much. I just wanted to double-check and make sure, because you want to cover all those different bases, because you never know where people are living or if they want to order it from you and ship it to a friend and things along those lines, so I totally get it, obviously. Now, as it relates to your presence, obviously we all know, because I've been talking about it all week and Instagramming it, that he has Madsen Woodwork on Instagram. Now, as things go along, are you having a visible presence on Facebook? Are you going to have an actual website? Are you going to expand out to more places?
I actually I should have mentioned it to you in emails or something, but I made a Facebook for it, and it's just under Madsen Woodworks, and there's a Facebook account under Madsen Woodworks and a page under Madsen Woodworks. It's more focused on the page there, but I would love to make a website. I'm pretty sure, I don't know, a friend of mine had told me that I need all sorts of, permits or something like that for owning a business website, that you have to pay some people for that or something. I don't know. But
everybody's trying to make a buck, Calvin, so you can just ignore that.
Yeah, but I once I figure that whole thing out, I'd love to make a website very soon.
Sure. No, I understand completely. This way people have more than one option to reach you. And at the end of the interview, I'll, of course, read off all the different places that they can find you, et cetera, et cetera. I want to interject a question to Michael, because if I don't ask you this, my son will kill me, my 12-year-old son. We were in McDonald's this morning, and he asked me, he's like, who's going to be on your show today? And I said, I have this guy by the name of Kalvin coming on to talk about his business. And I said, his dad's an actor and blah, blah, blah. And he said, well, who is he? And I showed him your picture. And of all the things you've done, all he cared about was his voice has never been on Assassin's Creed. So I want you to ask him why he hasn't done any voice stuff for Assassin's Creed. So I'm asking you, why haven't you done Assassin's Creed? Because you're breaking my child's heart.
Well, I've done a lot of voices on a lot of video games. I just did one that's brand new called Recoil that hasn't even been released yet, and
cool.
I love the voiceover stuff. It's fun. You go in a booth and bring life to a character. I did The Walking Dead, and I did
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. I have to be reminded by my children the voices I've done. I did Call of Duty, and what else did I do? There's a couple.
You did one of the Grand Theft Auto.
I did the very first Grand Theft Auto. I did.
Right.
What else was there? They probably know more than I do. I've done a few. I haven't been asked about Assassin's Creed, but I'll certainly bring it up to my voiceover agent and ask her.
That's awesome.
If they would submit me on it. Yeah, especially coming from a 12-year-old.
Cool.
No,
right,
I love
and
it.
they do that.
It's fun.
They
really
do,
fun.
and it surprises me because they're very limited, because I'm their mom, and of course mom's like, if it's too mature, I'm not going to let you play it. So they obviously can't do Grand Theft Auto. So a lot of the stuff, obviously.
No. To be honest with you, when I did the very first Grand Theft Auto, I didn't even know really what the game was about. And when I did the voiceover, I spoke to the creative people, and at that time they were just developing the game. They were using my voice for one of the characters, but the game was still actually in development and construction, and they didn't actually completely know how it was going to be and what it was going to be. And it turned out to be a lot more aggressive than I would have imagined. And that's one of those ones that goes a bit too far here and there. But far be it from me to criticize the world that I make a living in at sometimes. But I would agree with you. Grand Theft Auto is not for the timid or the young at heart. That's for sure.
Oh, you betcha. Yeah, absolutely. So I was like, I just showed it to him, and he was like, I'm like, of all these different things, he's like, I don't recognize them. And I'm like, well, of course, because you make movies that clearly 90% of my children are not going to see until they're 18 or whatever.
Well, they can watch Free Willy. I mean, they can watch Free Willy. I'm the dad in Free Willy, and that's for any kid from birth to that's a nice family picture with that's good for kids.
It is, definitely. And before I forget to ask you this, Cal, because I wanted to compare notes. So, obviously your dad's an actor, and, well, he's not just an actor, folks, in case you don't know this. He's an actor, he's an author, he's a photographer, he has a barbecue sauce line. I could go on and on and on, but it's not his show, it's his son's. So my question to you, Cal, is this. Of all the things that your dad does really well, what do you think he does best? Besides being a dad. I should take that out, because that's a given.
Yeah, I was about to lean towards that.
I'm sorry.
What does my dad do the best?
Maybe I should leave the room.
No, you can't leave the room. You have to take it in.
Calvin's a very modest young man, and I try to be the best dad I can be, and whatever.
No,
I don't know, Calvin.
My dad's always been so supportive. I'd want to say being a dad, but if I was going to choose other things from a dad, I just as a person, he obviously is an outstanding actor. I mean, that's insane. His poetry is really nice. I love looking through his books. Man, I couldn't even possibly pick one thing about my dad as the best thing. He's a great guy. I mean, I don't know what else to say about him. He's a super supportive dad. He's always been there for me. He's a cool guy. I mean,
thank you, son. Let's tell the world.
Awesome. Okay, we'll just do a flip back here, and I'll speak for the 5,000 people on my Facebook wall, et cetera, and the people that I polled today, because that's another thing I do on social media. We ask poll questions all the time, because I'm like, when I say you're my friend, I want to know something about you, not that your name is Michael and you're my friend, or you're Cal and you're my friend. I want to know who you are. So I polled everybody today. I said, tell me your favorite movie of his. Shocker, it's Reservoir Dogs. Is it my favorite movie? No. And I'm probably going to get yelled at, right? You're not going to yell at me, are you? Please don't yell at me. It's not. Okay, I'm just going to admit my favorite because I was the only person to say it.
I've often been in wonderment of Reservoir Dogs myself. It's a Tarantino picture, and it's very hard to describe to anyone who hasn't seen it. I think Calvin's probably seen a lot of pictures I've made. I wouldn't know which one would be outstanding in his mind.
Man, I always tell people, what was the cop movie with
Vice? Donnie Brasco.
Donnie Brasco I really loved, but my dad
I did too.
I mean, I think I easily would tell people Reservoir Dogs all the time, but I love that
Seriously?
movie very much. Yeah, really.
Really? Okay. Well, I'm going to be the lone wolf
do you
here
imagine
because I
it'll
was
be more
the
like
lone wolf for
abstract or
days.
something? I mean, there's also this movie, actually it's called Lumberjack Man, that is like, my dad, he plays a funny guy in it, and it's a pretty adult movie just because there's a lot of nudity in it, and there's drugs and stuff, but it's like a summer camp, like, slasher movie, but it's my dad, and it's just so hilarious. It's just, like, the funniest performance, like, and, like, I've seen my dad's movies where he's being funny, but this just tops all of my dad's comedy things, which is, it's so
that's
I
awesome.
showed my friends, we've watched it and laughed so hard, it's so hilarious.
That is cool. I like that. Okay,
that was fun doing that. I rarely get a chance for comedy.
I now that I'm over the hump of saying that, yes, it's not that I don't like Reservoir Dogs. Here's the problem with this, okay? I'm like, well, first of all, it's not my favorite, okay? We're just going to say it's not my favorite. So this is my favorite. So this is the only real thing I'm curious about because I was the lone wolf.
I'm interested in knowing.
It's always been one of two things. And before I even spoke to you, I have always said this. I've said this for years. I'm like, okay, so there's this Michael Madsen guy, and I watched him, and I've been watching you for a long time. My mother adores you, and that's one of the reasons why I was attracted to your work is because my mother has always said, this man is so excellent, and he's so wonderful, and it was a big thing for her. And so I was like, okay, so I've watched this. And by the way, I bought your very first movie the other day. Yeah, that was interesting. Just so you folks know, you should watch Michael Madsen's very first film. It's very different. Do you remember? You obviously remember your first thing, right?
Are you talking about War Games?
No, it was that you play, God, I should know this. I don't know the name. It's in my DVD thing.
What's your mom's favorite movie of mine?
Well, her and I have the same favorite movie, which is this.
Which one is it?
It's Thelma and Louise. And let me tell you why.
Sure.
The reason why, you remind me of another actor, the guy who played Sammy Gravano, William Forsythe, who I'm going to be interviewing. And
Billy
I
Forsythe
said this
is a great friend of mine. I love Thelma and Louise. Thelma and Louise was one of the few times I got to play a romantic character, a romantic leading man. I love that picture. That's a picture that stands the test of time. I mean, it's become a classic. It was. I love that picture, and it holds up even now today. I'm glad you mentioned it. It's a great film.
Of course.
And I've worked with William Forsythe. Probably Billy Forsythe and me probably made 4, maybe 5 movies together. We did a picture called Infected that you might want to watch, where Billy plays a country doctor, and me and my family are on a camping trip out in the woods, and everybody gets Lyme disease, and everyone turns into zombies, and they're all trying to eat each other, and me and William end up in a cabin at the end with shotguns, and we're trying to we're the last 2 survivors that don't have the disease yet. And I love William. He's one of the last lions of the business. He's a great actor. I've done TV spots with him, and we've done a couple gangster pictures together, and he's a gem. I say that about very few actors that I've worked with. And if you want to see a funny film with me and him in it, you should look at Infected. It went straight to DVD, but it's a good one.
That's awesome. Yeah. So there you go, folks. I'm the lone wolf, and I don't really care because I'm always saying Thelma and Louise. And the reason why is because before I even talked to you, I said the same thing of Will, which is I believe the signature of any actor in their best work starts off early, and then it's just a reproduction of their best work over and over and over again. And for some reason, when I saw that character in Thelma and Louise, I thought, I bet that's who really Michael Madsen is in real life, that he's not that Reservoir Dog guy, that he's not Donnie Brasco guy. You know what I mean?
Well, sure, I know what you mean. It's an interpretation of somebody will write something, and then it's up to me to interpret what they wrote. And I can't take credit for the writing of something, but I'll do my best to bring it to life as a character in a film. It's my job is no different than a bricklayer. I get hired, I go to work, I do my job, and I try to bring something to life that was written by someone else. I love Thelma and Louise, and it's definitely indicative of the romantic side of my personality. But it's always an interpretation of the screenwriter. It's certainly two different people from Mr. Blonde, that's for sure.
Oh, my God, right? And exactly. And just so you know, folks, because everybody but you knows this, talk to me this morning because I was like, oh, my God, what if I'm on the air with Michael Madsen and he yells at me? I'm like, what if he, tries to harm me or something? And they're like, are you insane? And I'm like, you tried talking to Michael Madsen once.
What the hell?
Are you going to kill me?
What do you want with my son anyway? Who do you think you are?
You're doing,
He's not
you're doing it right now.
boxes
And
for you, man. I'm going
funny.
to come over and hit you over the head with it. Yeah, well, that would be kind of funny.
Oh, my God.
Calvin, don't make any boxes for that woman.
Now.
She's nuts. No,
you hear this, folks? He's nurturing my manifestation
I get that in public.
Of fear
People
right
want
now.
to say hello to me, but they're afraid to say hello because they don't know what I'm going to do. And it's just kind of awkward sometimes.
Exactly. So there you go. See, so I'm not as afraid. I'm only half as afraid that I was when we started.
I'm just a dad.
Yeah. Right.
Just trying to make a living.
You are. Exactly. And we're on my show right now, so I actually, So see, the fear's going away.
I'm
there you go.
pleased to be on here with my boy.
Oh, God.
It's great for me, but trust me, I want to support everything he does in his life. It brings me great pleasure.
Wonderful. That is. Now, Cal, I have two major questions for you before I bring lots of surprises into your life. Since we, of course, got an acting thing, I don't want to be neglectful. I want to talk about the IMDb profile. I went through a few things. And the reason I bring this up is because oftentimes people listen to my show, they'll walk away and they'll listen to a movie, watch a movie, they'll read a book on my recommendation. So I know there's Now Here in 2010 and Absolute Vow in 2017. There's also mention of a movie called Primitiva. Did I say that right?
Oh, Primitiva.
Yeah, because it says it's filming, and I'm thinking, what's up with that?
Oh, it's I mean, I'm not too focused on my. I mainly did that just because I was with a group of people that were going to film a movie, and they went to Costa Rica, and they invited me, and we we went there, and they want to film a movie, and they asked me if I'd be in it, and I was in it, and it was a really good time. It was really fun, but that's true. It's just like this. It's like a slasher film. It's really cool. Or it's not a slasher film. What am I saying? But it's pretty unique. You should if anybody's interested. There's my girlfriend's sister. Her name is Kansas Bowling, and it's spelled just like the game bowling. And if you look her up on Instagram or on Facebook, all sorts of things. She's a director. She's made a lot of really great movies, and she has a lot of cool stuff coming out. But yeah, that was made by her, and yeah.
Okay. I gotcha. Now, the other two films that you participated in, like if they go to Vimeo or Amazon or some of those places, meaning Now Here and Absolute Vow, are they able to actually screen it, watch it, pick it up, etc.?
No, I don't think any of those came out.
I think Now Here might have went to DVD at some point in time, but that was a very, very low-budget project, and Kalvin was man enough to show up and be in it, and I wanted him to be part of it just to be around what I do, and so he could kind of know me better as a dad and know better what I do for a living. And he was one of those pictures that was fun for us both to work on, but I don't know if it ever saw the light of day in distribution.
I tried to look it up to see it because I was really interested what it looked like, the scene where I cried or whatever, but couldn't find it anywhere. I don't know what happened to it.
I saw it once. I saw a screening of it, but distribution is tough for low-budget independent pictures. It's a very tough business.
I know. Boy, do I know it. I work with these people all the time. It's so depressing. It's depressing to watch passion kind of perpetuate.
It's depressing to make
in a good way, it's one way, but you know what I mean? Sometimes it doesn't see the light of day.
No, we had that conversation the other day. We were talking about strength and honor and and something else I forget, but it's a lot of passion gets put into some of these things, and they disappear, and it's not like a box which is going to be there forever.
Well, right, exactly.
They're both forms of immortality, film and woodwork, I would say.
Without a doubt. Now, my other question to you, Cal, is this. So are there other additional personal passions that you're going to pursue over time that you think, just any other interest besides the woodworking, besides potential acting? Anything else on the plate?
Definitely music. Aside from woodworking, I think, honestly, music is probably the first thing for me, and woodworking would be kind of secondary, but I unfortunately I don't have all the resources I need to pull all my music things together, but I'm all that's going to come to light soon, and I'm going to get everything recorded. I'm going to send it out to labels, and I really like the music I make. People around me, the people I play it for, they like it. So I don't know. I feel really strong about it.
What's the name of that little studio, Kalvin, that you were in for a while? I remember I brought you over to that sound studio, and you went over there with your buddies and stuff.
Oh, that was
Do you still use that? Do you still go there?
It was something. The second word in it was ranch. No, I went there a couple times and just to have band practices and stuff. And I wanted to record there, but the person I'm working with, the producer, he doesn't live out where we live. He lives kind of far, so I managed to find other people who have studios out in the city around where the guy I work with lives, and I'm going out there to record.
Gotcha. Okay. And I guess I should probably ask the obvious question, which is, so therefore you haven't had anything recorded or done anything. And the reason I ask is because one of the people that listen to my show all the time are independent filmmakers. And let me tell you something, your dad will tell you, independent filmmakers need to find lots of new and interesting talent when they're doing a movie. A lot of my friends always use original music by people composed by you. That's why I asked the question.
Oh, well, actually, I have several, not even several, a lot of recordings of myself that I've done myself. I know how to make my own recordings, and I can do it and make it sound really good. I've made recordings of just me with a guitar, and I've done other instruments and things like that. I've done it in my house. I've bought microphones, and I have electric guitars and acoustic guitars. I've made a lot of recordings that I have personally, and I could send around, but yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah, a regular band down in the garage for a while. They had the whole setup down there. It was pretty cool. It was.
That's awesome.
I've heard them in the middle of the night. They're pretty good actually. And I've talked to Kalvin about writing some music for a couple pictures I've been in. There's a couple things I've done lately that he met the producers on that were asking him if he would play on the soundtrack for a couple things I'm doing right now.
Oh, that's awesome. See, I like that. Definitely. Okay.
Luke,
now.
Luke, go in the fridge and grab me that energy drink that's in there.
It might be useful to, if anybody's interested in the music I make, it might be useful to understand that the music I make is, I guess, it's hard for me to choose a genre for it, but I guess I was going, my major inspirations for it is I listen to a lot of classical rock from the 60s and 70s, and I love that music just to death, and I'm very inspired by people like Johnny Cash, and I'm very inspired by the band Velvet Underground and by Lou Reed, and I don't know, by all sorts of people that I just really adore. And I'm reading Johnny Cash's book right now, actually, and it's, I don't know, I guess it would be kind of a blend of things like that I'm inspired by.
I remember the genesis of Johnny Cash. He's got some Johnny Cash T-shirts, and for a while had a big. There's a mugshot of Johnny Cash on the internet that I saw a long time ago, and I had it blown up and framed, and it was hanging up in the house for a while, even back in the day. And that was, I think, when I first noticed Kalvin with his music was him listening to a lot of Johnny Cash.
Well, look at that. That's awesome. He's one of my favorites, actually, to tell you the truth. And I don't know if, Cal, you ever get to New York City, because that's my second home. And so most of my second family lives over there. And then if you ever get a chance to come out there, one of the places you could go to with me, the general man. I don't know if you've ever gone to Webster Hall in New York City. The guy that runs the place is a really good friend of mine. He's actually an actor in an independent film that I'm showing at my festival. Talk about one of the best places to play, to just go and play music. I mean, it's huge. You need to go there. You need to see this place. It's awesome. I can't say enough about this place.
I'm very
interested. It's amazing. Cool. Oh, my God. Yeah. It's so much fun.
When is that?
Let me see. When am I going to go to Webster Hall? I'll probably go either in June or July. My film festival is, towards late July, and so I want to go and I want to get to Webster Hall because I have some friends that play there, actually. See, we're all in this one big circle. Come on my show and go to Webster Hall. New York, Webster Hall? You've never been there?
Webster Hall's in New York,
sure.
So if Kalvin was hanging around New York sometime in late July, he could come over there and strum around a little bit?
Well, yeah, as a matter of fact, let's get to the surprises. Okay, but first, before we get to the surprises, because there are surprises. Every time people come on the show, there are surprises. I always have surprises for my guests because then they like me a little bit more. And at this rate, this is going to be the highlight of my night because I think my date's standing me up. Yeah, that's right, folks. Surprise! Date's standing me up. Okay, so we want to talk about...
Sounds like a bum.
Well, now you see
like
why we've
bum.
dated 4 times. I'm crazy about him, but I'm like, this is what I'm talking about, folks. I mean, my followers know this because I post it. I'm very blunt on Facebook. I see, some of the things that you guys post, but I'm very blunt. Everybody knows everything that's going on in my life for the most part. And they see this all the time because I get all excited, and I'm like, this is going to be it this time. Yeah. Right.
Wow.
But no, the good thing we have surprises for you
business.
because apparently there's no surprise for Sydney tonight. Shocker. But that's okay because we have great company right now. So let me run through these things first off before we get to the surprises. So his name is Kalvin Madsen. Obviously, we all know how to spell Madsen as Madsen. First name Kalvin, Kalvin, or otherwise known as Cal, Kal. His Instagram is Madsen Woodwork, and obviously he has his own personal Instagram as Cal Madsen. Michael Madsen has michaelmadsen.com. He has the Michael Madsen Official on Instagram. He also has a Facebook page. As you heard Cal say, he has a Facebook page that's coming up or is up. Let me just clarify.
Yeah, it's up.
It is up. Okay, I'll have to check that out because I didn't get an opportunity to do so.
No,
Both
he's
of
been
them
very
have an
motivated
IMDb.
lately, and he was really looking forward to be on your show. And
Really?
that phone call that you guys had, well, the genesis of that, he's very very flattered, and we're both very, very nice that you've taken this interest in Cal.
Well, I told you the reasons why, and we won't repeat those on air because no one knows
Sure.
the fact. You're doing a favor for me, Cal, which I appreciate more than I can tell you, and I will do anything that I can to help you, obviously. The biggest thing, folks, you want to remember is if you reach out to him on Instagram, you can talk to him about ordering. He has a direct email, which is madsenwoodwork@gmail.com. I'm sure you can message him through Facebook as well as far as that goes. We talked about the website, obviously, and we'll see what comes of that as far as that goes. Now the surprises. So there are surprises that are from me, and then there are surprise offers from other people. So which do you want first? Because there's 9 of them. Is that a lot? Is this going to overwhelm you? You're not going to have a heart attack.
Let's get started.
Okay. He's like, just bring it.
Easy.
Okay,
bring not easy to overwhelm.
Okay. Well, first of all, to those that are listening in, they already know this, and you guys know this because I sent you my bio, but half of my time is spent being an actual journalist because that's what I like to do. So I obviously freelance with a number of different places, but some of the big ones too, like Huffington Post, LA Times, and New York Times, et cetera, amongst others. So I think I threw this idea out there. So if you like, when I come to LA next month, I could come and visit you, or you can come and visit me, and we can actually do a written-up article that'll get submitted to some of the bigger name publications, newspapers, magazines, et cetera, which I assume you would like.
Oh, yeah, I'm all
You can
over
say
it.
no if you want. I'm all over that, too, because it allows me to write, and that's like my huge thing. I do everything that allows me to write. So that would be a yes. Awesome. Okay, so you won't know this about me because we didn't talk about this. This is a big one. I started at the beginning of last year. I am having a calendar out this year. Yes, that's right, folks. You can buy a calendar with my face on it for 12 months. I have no idea why anyone wants to look at me. You've seen my picture, right? Would you want to look at me for 12 months? Who the hell wants to look at me for 12 months? Apparently, everyone. Here's the premise of my calendar. If you want inclusion, now would be the time to say so. Because, for instance, one of the things that I do is I promote independent artists, independent authors like George Christie. Your dad's friend is in there with my review of his book. Deanna Martin, which is Dean Martin's daughter, is in the calendar. I have Real Housewives. I have independent film directors like Steve Stanulus, John Gallagher. I am big, huge on indie. I can't stress enough to you. Any form that I can use to do it, I will. It's huge promotion. I'm told that if we play our cards right, it'll get out to about, I'm hoping 20,000 people this year. If we did 50, I'd be even happier. But it's free and it's cheap. But then we have to have a picture taken of the boxes and all that good jazz. But if you'd like to be included, I have 2 spots left, and then they're all gone.
I'm very interested. That sounds pretty cool.
Oh, my gosh. That's
great.
another yes.
That's a big surprise. I was wondering what they were going to be. That's a great one.
Oh, no, it gets better. It gets better, folks. Okay, so as you heard when I was talking about my news, one of those fun things I get to do is to go to Comic-Con. And Comic-Con is the very first marijuana comic book convention. And normally I wouldn't do that, although, yes, I'm going to say it out loud. I'm a 420 supporter. Oh, well. Anyway, so the purpose of going, because people are, you'd be surprised because you're in the same field I'm in, kind of. Then they get all weirded out like, you freak or skinny dip or you do dope? I'm like, whatever.
You're
anyway.
not dope.
Well, marijuana and or 420 and or whatever. The point is, I'm doing this comic book convention because I'm sure you guys don't know this, but my son has created a comic book that's finally, after 3.5 years, coming out this year. He was a seizure patient, and so we are finally coming out with this comic book, and it's going to all the pediatric hospitals, et cetera, and so for purposes of getting coverage, et cetera, I'm going to provide media coverage, and I'm also going to be a vendor there. Hopefully George will come with me, but long story short, I would like to take a few boxes with me unless mine is done, or maybe you want to do 2, or maybe if you want to go to Vegas and you're around, just come to Vegas. You can hang out at the table with me. It's a one-day event. It's in July, I don't even know anymore. I don't even know what the hell my own schedule is. July 8th.
Well, you know, oddly enough, I think Kalvin might be around Las Vegas. He has a Mustang.
Uh-oh.
You ever watch a show called Counting Cars?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Okay, well, I know that cat who runs the show, the Count. We became friends, and he has Kalvin's Mustang, and they're gonna make an episode of the show with Kalvin's car, and we'll obviously have to go to Vegas when the unveiling happens.
Sure.
And I also have a good friend who's an MMA fighter, is Cowboy Cerrone, who has a fight in Las Vegas in early July, and I was going to go to Vegas and watch him fight. So, you know, the chance of Kalvin being around and being with you and sitting at your booth or bringing a box is probably more possible than you might think.
Well, I'm only throwing it as a suggestion, and please remember, because you are younger, I assume, as a grown man, that however we are talking about a convention as such, so I guess I should consider your parents in that regard because, well, I guess I didn't ask if you approve of such things, so I don't want to be out of line. But certainly, your products can come with me, or you can go, or et cetera, et cetera. So you can think about that one.
Wait, did you say Comic-Con?
Yeah, well, it's called Chronic-Con. If you go on Facebook or you just do an internet search,
okay, I thought you said
Chronic, like Chronic, like C-H-R-O-M-I-C.
That's in Las Vegas?
It's in Las Vegas, and it's at, yeah, you know what? I apologize. I can't remember the name of the place. It's a hotel. It's July 8th of 2017. It's a one-day event, just one day. And you know what's really cool is I found...
Why don't we make a plan and see if, you know, he can definitely get there.
And we can talk about all this off show. I'm just throwing it all out there right now so that this way the listening audience is hearing,
believe me, Kalvin's pretty gregarious. He'd love to do that.
Kalvin might be here. So I'm just throwing that out there as far as that goes. And if you do show up, my dear friend Christopher Cerrone is going to be there. He was the guy that played Henry Hill, the young Henry Hill in Goodfellas. I'm sure you guys have seen Goodfellas. So he's going to be making an appearance there. And if I can manage George Christie, I would love to have him come because he's got his book. So we'll see how that goes. Now, the fourth thing...
George is a good buddy.
He is terrific. And he wanted me to say hello to you, and I told him to listen in, et cetera, et cetera. He's amazing. I did a great show with him, and he petrified me even more than you. I was shocked.
George is a solid man. He's a good cat, a good friend, and he has an interesting past, and he's a loyal guy. There's not too many George Christies running around the world, that's for sure.
You bet. You gotcha. Okay, so, Cal, I have my fourth offer, and then I have 4 offers from other people. Okay, so the fourth one is the biggest one and is closest to my heart. New York City, July 21st to the 23rd is my film festival. As you might have heard at the beginning, what's most important to me is the fact that we are combining musicians and filmmakers and producers, directors, screenwriters, and a youth category, and putting them all in a room together. We're having a couple different events. We're doing 6 industry panels, et cetera, and we're having tons of different vendors. All of them are film relative to some degree, meaning you technically qualify, and I say technically because I'm very staunch about if you're going to do a film festival, they should have a connection to film. Well, you live with your connection to film. So technically, I think you qualify, which means if you want to come and attend the festival, that would be absolutely wonderful. Your family could attend. Obviously, if you wish to be a panelist, one of you, both of you, you could certainly do that because I have an actor panel, I have a producer panel, I have a director panel, I have a prop panel, you name it. July 21st to the 23rd. So you can attend one day, you could attend all 3 days, you could bring your stuff with you, you could hang out for the whole thing, you could be in the panel. It's up to you.
Is that in New York also?
It is in New York. It's actually in Brooklyn. And I can send you the details on that because I think I told you over the phone.
Just stay in touch. Look, stay in touch with me. Stay in touch with both of us. And as long as you're talking to Kalvin or me, we can figure out the dates later on and how to participate and what best way we could work that out.
Okay, cool.
I'm very
so those
interested.
are my 4 offers. Those are just from me.
Yeah.
Now there's 4 outside offers. Are you going to have a heart attack, or are you still with me?
My heart's doing good. It's a regular beat still.
Are you okay? Like you're not going to get sick or something, are you?
He's good.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm pretty blown away by the things you're offering me.
So you know what's really cool about my show? I do this all the time with guests. I mean, it could be anybody, because I do authors, I do business people, I do charities, and at the end, all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, wait, there's a surprise. And then, like, one of them cried. A couple people have cried. People have been, like, in shock, you know. Like, the first time your dad called me, I couldn't talk. I was like, I'm outside of a grocery store, and he's like, this is Michael Madsen. And he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, well, does Michael Madsen call you every day? You know what I mean? If that's the real experience, like, Michael Madsen's calling me. And I'm like, oh, no, it's Michael Madsen on the other end of that phone. Yeah, okay. All right, so
I don't think it's
here's your
as
other 4
exciting as the
opportunities.
Publishers Clearinghouse comes over with a check for $1 million.
Well, it's kind of exciting, though. It's, like, totally exciting, because this is, like, as I mentioned, the highlight of my night, because my dates didn't show up.
Very nice of you to say.
Anyway. You're quite welcome. Okay, so offer number 1, I know the producer, the casting producer for the show Shark Tank. Have you heard of that?
Oh, yeah.
So you know what that is?
Yeah,
you know what
I've
they
seen
do.
it.
So I was just wondering if you wanted to audition when they go to L.A.
Oh, you know, that sounds cool.
So that
and all.
Gets you money.
That seems like it's going to be a roast or something.
I can't imagine Kalvin going on
know.
Shark Tank with a box in his hand. It's a nice idea, but
they're going to throw all these statistics at me.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what that means.
Yeah. You know, those guys are pretty hardcore.
Thank
and
you,
I only throw it out there because
it's
obviously
idea,
we live in this world where we work with publicists all the time, and so they were like, "Oh, Shark Tank's coming!" I'm like, "Let's throw that out there."
Oh,
no, thank you.
Okay.
That's interesting.
No, that's
idea.
okay. There's more. Okay, so I talked to your dad about this the other day, and I think I might have mentioned it to you in an email. So I'm waiting to get confirmation back on 2 different things, which is the BET Awards, which is either June 24th or 25th in L.A. And just so you know, folks, I'm not changing my MO on L.A. I don't like it. I don't want to go there. I think people scare me there, but you guys are nice, I think. But we all know I don't like L.A.
LA is not for everybody, that's for sure. I would share my feelings about that with you. That's why we live in Malibu.
Right. No, I got you. But the reason I bring this up,
you know, what's that?
This one is an opportunity for the BET Awards gifting lounge. So you have to kind of mull this over, which is obviously they're always looking for people to do.
That's a really nice. One of my wife's girlfriends runs a gifting lounge. My wife's girlfriend Amy runs a gifting lounge. What the hell's the name of that thing?
Oh, Secret Rooms.
Secret Room. Yeah, Amy Boatwright has Secret Rooms. It's a gifting suite that she does for the Grammys and for just about every event that ever happens here. So I know what that is. I've been to a few of them. Kalvin would be that'd be a great idea. That'd be great. That'd be a great spot for Cal. That's a good idea.
Right. Oh, definitely. Now, don't quote me because we have to wait for little Miss Deirdre or whatever her name is, Reed, to get back to me because I sent her the information because she wanted me to do media coverage there. And I said, well, if you want me to come, that's all fine and good. But I'm like, if I'm going to come, I may as well combine it, meaning do a gifting lounge thing where your stuff is there because you're not, those are celebrities there. You're going to get great exposure, et cetera. They are not charging you anything for it. I think what they want is an in-kind donation. So basically, if you made a box, donated it to the gifting lounge, et cetera, and the idea is getting your promotion, blah, 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 So that idea is
that's great. That's a good one. That's a very good one.
You bet. The other thing I wanted to mention is, if you heard me at the start of the show, apparently I'm going to be it's 95% sure that I'm already expected to cover the LA Film Festival. Yay. Because I don't have enough films to write about already. And I love covering film festivals. My heart is with film, 150%. But it's
No, I was there
LA.
a couple of years ago. I went to that a few years ago. It's not a bad event.
Is it nice? I'm curious.
No, it was
because
fine.
I've never
I had Strength and Honor was in that thing.
I gotcha. Okay. Well, and obviously, of course, I have to find dresses and all that jazz. But in any case, if I cover the film festival, what I was thinking about was perhaps I should just give you guys the pass one day or whatever. You guys could just go there and mingle and meet people and all that jazz. Or actually, Cal's probably old enough to go on his own. The reason I say that is I've gifted media passes to people before. You go there, you network, especially for your music stuff. Just an idea throwing it out there. You got all sorts of free networking right in front of you for how many days you want to go. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
As far as the LA Film Festival.
Yeah, you should follow up with Kalvin on that for sure.
You betcha. And then the last thing that we have is I work in a world where I have 18 publicists on my roster, and I'm really nice to all of them. So when I'm really nice to them, they're really nice to me. So I took all of your information. I submitted it to 2 different television programs that film in L.A. and 2 different magazines that are in L.A., and I've asked them to consider you for considerable coverage. So I hope you don't mind.
Yeah,
okay?
That's really cool. Thank you very much.
No, that's anxious with me. You stay in touch with Kalvin about that, and bounce it off of me, and having a publicist work with him and get him on a show or something like that is a grand idea. It's all these things are very, 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 very nice.
He didn't yell at me. Oh my God! You have no idea how nervous I've been about getting yelled at.
You haven't given me any valid reason to yell. So
I got to tell you. Well, you know what it is? It's the persona, just like with George. Before I actually talked to George, I was like, oh, my God, he's going to yell at me over the phone. And my best friend's like, what is he going to do, kill you? I'm like, well, kind of. Because you get that persona and you don't always play really nice people. You've
George
done some
is a very
things.
gentle man.
Scary. Yes.
Listen, it takes a gentle giant to play one.
You betcha. Now, the last question I want to ask you, Kalvin, is this. A family is a foundation, and obviously I ought to know firsthand that support at home is fundamental when it comes to achieving personal and professional goals. You're very blessed. Some of us do not have that foundation, and we've kind of been self-made. It's one of the reasons I approached you, is no one should have it that hard. Someone should always have someone in your corner. Your father, and what I'm guessing, which is my last question, which is I do not want to be neglectful in asking you about your mother, because it's pretty clear that there are 2 parents that raise you, 2 parents that care for you, and 2 parents that want you to be happy and achieve your goals. So if you wouldn't mind, just tell us a little bit about your mom.
My mom's great. Should
we put her on the phone?
That would be awesome. Do you think she'd mind?
Where's your mom?
I don't know. Let me see.
I'm going to go look and see where she is. She's probably
just because
upstairs.
out of respect, it's the right thing to do.
Hey, Deanna!
Because oftentimes people don't know. You know what I mean? They want to know, or they have a general curiosity.
Deanna!
So I'm like, well, why not ask? Oh, no. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to find her.
Here come the wife and the dogs.
We're trying to put you on a radio show.
Well,
we're trying to put you on a radio show.
Deanna, why don't you go on the radio and say hello?
She's not ready right now. She's like, she just got out of the shower.
Oh, no, I don't want to be offensive at all. I don't want to be inconvenient. I was just trying to be considerate because obviously you have a mom.
That was very nice and very thoughtful of you. She'll be glad to know you even asked about it.
Oh no,
definitely.
But I guess for her sake, she's a good mom and she's always there. She likes all the boxes and stuff. Yeah, I do random repairs for her throughout my house. I have random wood things that break and stuff, and I fix things for her. And yeah, I made a box for her recently, and she really liked it. Yeah.
She deserves the Mom Award, that's for sure. She's got a full house of wolves over here, and she does a pretty good job keeping everything together. She's, I think she qualified as, if they had awards for things like that, I think she should get the first one because she's a great mother. She really is the best. We're lucky to have her around here. She could have kicked us all in the street years ago.
Okay, the only other, the last part
for Nigeria.
Oh my God, the last part of this interview is always the same thing, and it's always the same finish, which is, Kalvin, I get to tell you what I think of you. The reason that I do that is because people that listen in who have no idea who you are, what you do, etc., are curious and they want to know things. And I've talked to you a little bit. I've got an impression of you from your dad. So if it's okay, I'll let you know what I think of you. That'll be the last thing that we do. I want to remind you guys that within about 2 hours or so, this episode becomes archived. I'm going to send you a link to both yourself and your father. I'd appreciate it if you'd post it around all over the place. I have posted this interview tonight to, if I add up all the numbers, probably about 1 million people. I'm in a large social media group, so it wasn't that, it was a night of me sitting watching television while my kids were sick and sleeping, and I was like, you know what, let's promote. And it's not that difficult. People are very kind to me. I try to be nice, so they're nice back. So I'll send you the link. You can send it off. I'll put it on Twitter. I'll put it on Instagram. I'll put it on my LinkedIn. I'll put it on my Facebook. I'll send it to you guys, both of you. You'll have that as far as that goes. You can follow up with me, one of you, both of you, in terms of all the opportunities that I had talked about clearly. Do you want to ship my box, or am I actually going to get it from you in person? What would you
when was it that you're going to be in LA again?
Well, that's a good question.
I could ship it to you. I thought you were going to be here recently or soon.
No, they had talked to me about doing a gig, and then I was like, you know what, I don't want to go to LA this weekend. My kids are gone this weekend. If I was going to go anywhere, I'd go to New York, but it doesn't look like that's going to pan out. So I might end up either in Chicago, And I'm not going to say anything about Chicago because your dad's from Chicago. So we'll leave that one right there. Because I'm 90 miles from Chicago, and I love Chicago, but let me just, can I just vent a minute? I worked a convention at McCormick Place. I paid $18 for lunch. I can go to Little Italy in New York and pay $10. I was like, I paid $18 for lunch in Chicago. Is that a little crazy, does it think?
That is
think?
crazy.
That's crazy, right?
What did they give you for $18?
A cheeseburger, French fries, and a bottle of water. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks, Chicago. Thank you. Thanks. So there you go, people. No more Chicago.
I think Kalvin will ship your box anywhere you want as soon as it's done, but I'm sure he'd rather give it to you in person. If you're going to be around and we're going to get together, he can give it to you in person.
Well, what I'm thinking is this. I'm not going to be – my kids leave for their vacation June 14th, and then they're gone for 2 solid weeks with their dad. So what I'm going to do is I'll be in Wisconsin a little bit, and then I will go to New York City, and then LA/Vegas will be the last part of my trip. So it'll probably be the 3rd week of June. So, I mean, unless you're in a hurry to get rid of it, if you want to meet in person, we could do that then, but we need to talk before then because some of these events are before that date. Follow me?
No, that's up to you and Kalvin. You guys figure that out.
Okay. Yeah, we'll work it out as far as that goes. Okay, so let's wrap things up here in terms of this. So this is what I think of you, young man, Kalvin. To the people that are listening in, sometimes all it takes is just one person, and in this case it was me, one person sitting in New York City Airport, LaGuardia to be exact. And I'm fiddling around, and, every once in a while I peek at Michael Madsen, and I see, what's going on? We've got this little Madsen Woodwork thing that he's got in there. And then I peek, and then I go and I look, and I see this, and it says this little email. And I looked at this, and I thought, you know what, I want a box for myself because I don't get a whole lot. I'm a single mom, and I don't get anything for myself. So I sent this order off. One conversation led to one email, which led to one show, which led to countless opportunities. The point here, folks, is that I'm talking to a very bright, very bold, very passionate individual. I can tell that because every time he talks about his dad, his music, his boxes, his girlfriend, his anything, he puts 150% into it. Where does he get that from? I'm going to guess his parents. Why? Because, well, we all know who we're talking to and we all know who we're talking about. Cal, one of the coolest things that I find about you is that you're very humble. In our business, meaning entertainment, I don't come across that very often. I gravitate to humility and humanity, and I gravitate to young individuals who have such passion and want to do something with their lives. I'm very blessed and very honored that the both of you gave me this much time to come on my show to talk to my listeners. As I mentioned, I will help you do anything that you need to do for my own reasons, and most importantly because you shouldn't have it that hard. You have a wonderful family, and you're very blessed, and you have things that most of us don't. You should appreciate one another, and I can see that you do. If I can help any one of you out, that would be terrific. Mr. Madsen, I have one request. If it's not too much trouble, do you think maybe you could come back sometime and let me interview you on your own? Because you're just pretty cool, and I just want to do that.
I think at this point, from what you just said about my son, I'd be more than happy to do that. All you got to do is ask, and I think you just did.
Well, I think I did.
My answer would be, of course I would.
I did.
Can you imagine Can you imagine if
no?
You can imagine if after all that I was like, look, it was all nice, everything you said, it was all sweet and everything, but as far as me coming on again, that ain't gonna happen, all right? So just write that off your wish list right now, kiddo, because this is it, all right? I'm done with you. I mean,
oh my God. Is that yelling? Is that total yelling? I'm scared.
If I said that,
I'm so scared.
That would be pretty funny.
That's awesome.
I would love to be on your show. I'll do it once a week if you want. I'll make a special appearance once a week on your show if you like.
You can't do that. Hey, and before I forget, Kalvin.
Anytime you want, sweetheart.
Kalvin.
Huh?
Kalvin, I just have a question. Did I do okay?
Oh, yeah.
Are you disappointed? Everything's all right? We're all good? And Mr. Madsen, before I forget to ask, what's coming out for you? Because obviously, I clearly saw The Hateful Eight, and I've seen some other things. But do you have a project coming out in the near future, something people should be looking out for?
Well, I've been looking for a good material. I'm looking for something like Manchester by the Sea. I'm looking for something like something that's not. I've done my thing as a villain, and I'm kind of looking for something a bit more poetic. I'm looking for something. I'm looking for a role that's. I'm looking for something that I haven't done yet, and looking for the right project and the right kind of situation. I'm going to Paris to make a film, and I have a picture I'm going to do up in Sacramento playing a sheriff, and I got a couple of things that are upcoming, but I'm trying to be a bit more selective nowadays, and I'm trying to wait for something really good to come along. And I got a few things that are finished that haven't seen the light of day, but I can't really talk about at the moment because it's not. They have their own way of releasing these things, but I'm a pretty busy boy, and I'm looking for something special nowadays. I'm looking for something that'll really. I mentioned Manchester by the Sea because I just thought it was a great piece of human condition. It was intellect. It was a man going through all these situations, and you find yourself asking, like, what is this movie about? And it doesn't really have to be about anything. It was about that guy and what happened to him. And I just thought it was a piece of art. I thought it was masterfully done, and Casey, he deserved that little trophy he got. And lately, I haven't seen much of that sort of thing, and I'm looking for something like that. I'm looking for that kind of a project, and it's few and far between. They're hard to find. I can make a living forever doing what I usually do, but I'm looking for something a little bit different.
I gotcha. I understand completely. And now that you said yes, so when you come onto my show, I'll tell you what I think of you. Yours will be a little bit longer because you're a little bit older than your son. Just a little, just a wee bit. And before I forget, since your other child is an actor, right, you have another son that's an actor, et cetera. So don't be a stranger in terms of, obviously, I interview actors all the time. So if they need promotion. Sure. And Cal, please tell your girlfriend, Cal, to get in touch with me because, like I said, I am huge on doing this. And just so you know, I do live interviews as well. Not often because then I have to dress up. I'm dressed up right now. But this is a special occasion because I said I had a date. Did I mention that I got canceled?
You dressed up for the date that got canceled.
Yeah, I got a date with a wine glass in about 10 minutes, folks. So thanks so much.
Well, maybe he'll show up. You never know.
He's not smart enough to show up, dear. Hello? He's 35 minutes late. He's not showing up, okay? I get it. It's fine. It's all good. Whatever.
Maybe he's listening.
Yeah, right. He doesn't even know how to get on the damn internet. I'm like, this is an internet radio show. I mean, you push a button. How hard is it to get on here, right? Who doesn't want to listen to me, right? I'm relatively entertaining, right?
I think.
Maybe.
I think if he didn't show up, you can do better.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, maybe you guys could do me a favor. Hello, take a look at my picture. I'm still relatively, I'm 47, so it's getting older. We're getting older. So if you meet anyone who happens to be single that's not an actor, I didn't just say that.
In today's lifetimes, people are living longer now in 2017 than they ever have in history.
Oh, I believe it. It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, in a good way. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, so
there's a lot more
I'll
things
get over
you can
it.
do to keep you going nowadays.
Well, without a doubt. And as you heard, I have a lot of busy things on my schedule. So when we hang up, like I said, shortly I will send you off an email summarizing everything that we talked about. You guys get a hold of me. Let me know how we can plan things out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, the live interview, blah, blah, blah. Think about everything. I'm glad that you guys were able to do this. I'm sorry I pestered your wife. I just thought out of respect it's the right thing to do.
No, you didn't pester her.
That.
It was nice. She probably would have loved to have jumped on if she wasn't half naked.
And on that note, now that we've talked about half naked women,
she doesn't get,
and
put it this way, she doesn't get much privacy in a house full of boys.
Oh,
sure. It's like taking a shower for her is an event. The bedroom door gets locked, and she has her girl time, and we do our best to respect her without barging in with the dogs or some other atrocious thing.
I get it. No, I totally understand. I do. Kalvin, have I cleared everything up for you? Any questions for me? Anything you need to ask me before we go? Because sometimes I may not be clear. I try to do my job pretty thorough, though.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm very clear. I understand.
I think it's all good.
Awesome.
You guys just got to stay in touch and just remind each other of the things we talked about.
Yeah, definitely. And remember that was a 2-hour time difference.
Come on, and I will. Huh?
Yeah, that would be great. We'll coordinate.
Just let me know the next time, and I'll come on anytime.
That'll be great. Yeah, that'll be awesome. Well, I never know your film schedule. Well, clearly, we'll coordinate something. And Cal,
I'm around.
Check your email within 60 minutes. I'm going to go for a run real quick, and then I'll send you off a big note, and we'll talk about everything we talked about. And again, thank you guys so much. And please, like I said, wait for the link a little bit later. If you guys want to shoot it out to everybody and have them listen in, that would be awesome. I'd really, really appreciate it.
We appreciate you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Anytime, my dear. All right, we'll talk soon. You guys go enjoy your evening. Good luck to you. Thank you again.
All right. Yeah, I'll see you.
All right, dear. Take care.
Have a good one. Bye.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night, guys. Okay, I literally just had a heart attack. God, I hope you guys on Facebook are totally going to be like, yay, she didn't kibosh that interview. Okay, so one more time, let's go through all the ways we can find Kalvin Madsen. Obviously, it's spelled Kalvin. Last name is spelled Madsen, obviously, Madsen. Instagram, 2 different places, which is Madsen Woodwork. Also, Cal Madsen. He has an IMDb profile as well as Michael does, obviously. Both of them are featured and or talked about, I'm sure, on michaelmadsen.com, which is his website, clearly. Facebook is the Madsen Woodwork. If you wish to reach him to make an order, either go to Instagram, which is, of course, Madsen Woodwork, or otherwise email him directly at madsenwoodwork@gmail.com. You guys heard all the various different exciting things that we're going to be doing together, so it's pretty clear that we're forming an alliance, a.k.a. somewhat of a partnership together. And why? Because he is young, he is eager, and he has a means to do great things. And, of course, obviously, I'm a big supporter of independent business. So if you can, please, please, please go out of your way to try to get to know him, his products, etc. Support him on Instagram, follow him on Facebook. I would greatly appreciate it. And my thanks again to both Kalvin and Michael for coming on the show today. Greatly appreciated. Don't want to forget to remind everybody, Sue Phillips is coming on the show tomorrow, which is, of course, my Scentarium lady. As I mentioned before, weird about the whole scent thing, really kind of creepy. But if you guys want to smell like me, I'm down for that. But in all seriousness, we're going to talk about fragrance and how it affects sickness as well as treatment. We're going to talk about all the various different places she worked at, from Elizabeth Arden to Macy's to Lancome. She is a total dynamo in her world, and I cannot wait to talk to her. That is 1 o'clock Central Standard Time tomorrow. Last thing I don't want to forget to mention is obviously my loyalty to my friends. Josh Kilray, I know it's a very, very painful day for you today. For me too, my heart goes out to you. I'm here if you need to talk. I'm here if you need everything, anything, everything, etc. Eve Austin, who would have thought, such a wonderful woman and such a great supporter. Just an FYI for you, since I don't have a date tonight anymore, guess what I'll be screening? That's right, your film, American Tango. Let's hope it makes it into my festival. I want to, last of all, thank everybody who has been supportive in the regard of listening to my show, encouraging me to keep going, listening, encouraging me to have new guests, et cetera, et cetera. Without you guys, I wouldn't have a show or a career. So thanks so much from me to you for everything. Thanks again, and we'll talk tomorrow at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. Thanks.
It's fall. The geese are headed south, and it's time for you to hit the woods. So button things up, find where they hide, and pattern the deer you seek. Come into Cabela's Great Outdoor Days and save over 20% on Herter's Select Grade handgun ammo. Save $180 after mail-in rebate on Walther PPS M2 pistols with instant savings of $80. And get a Vortex Diamondback 3.5 to 10x50 V-Plex rifle scope, just $149.99. Shop in-store and at Cabela's.com. It's fall. The geese are headed south, and it's time for you to hit the woods. So button things up, find where they hide, and pattern the deer you seek. Come into Cabela's Great Outdoor Days and save over 20% on Herter's Select Grade handgun ammo. Save $180 after mail-in rebate on Walther PPS M2 pistols with instant savings of $80. And get a Vortex Diamondback 3.5 to 10x50 V-Plex rifle scope, just $149.99. Shop in-store and at Cabela's.com.